Our story starts at the onset of World War II, with a young boy named Angus. He loves the sea, but is terrified to approach it, always imagining that if he enters the water, he will drown with no one to save him. Angus enjoys collecting seashells, a hobby he shared with his father. One day, he discovers a peculiar rock he's never seen before and decides to keep it. His mother, Anne, arrives and takes him home. Angus heads to the storehouse to store his seashells and the unusual rock he found. He tries to open the rock with a sharp tool and manages to peel it open, revealing a strange, sticky substance like an egg. His mother calls him, and he leaves the rock to go to her, but the rocks start moving and fall on the ground. The night comes, and the wind was so strong that's opened the storehouse door. Angus goes to the storehouse to see the rock but finds it broken. He begins to hear movements around him, so he tracks the sound. He finds a small creature trying to hide from him. Angus reaches out his hand, but it was scared and tries to bite him. Angus runs to the kitchen, bringing potatoes for the creature to eat. It starts eating and allows Angus to touch him without biting. He then realizes the creature is wounded on its back and rushes to get a first aid kit to treat it. Angus puts the creature in the warehouse and returns to his mother. She was calling him. Next day, Angus wakes to the sound of an army battalion at their house entrance. Captain Thomas informs them the battalion will be stationed in their garden by orders from the main center for a specific time, with only officers allowed to sleep inside the house. Angus goes to his father's library for a dictionary to check something. He finds the creature eating his father's boots, realizing it's hungry. He then goes to the kitchen, bringing the leftovers basket for the creature to eat. Angus decides to name the creature Crusoe, after his father's favorite book. He looks in the dictionary to identify Crusoe's species, but finds nothing specific. After Crusoe finishes eating, Angus touches its skin, finding it very dry and in need of water. He puts water in the basket for Crusoe, discovering it enjoys swimming. He starts caring about Crusoe and playing with him a lot, and in one day, his mother calls him, because she wants to tell him something about his father, and she meets Louise, the new housekeeper, and she asks him to start cleaning the store. Because she suspects that her son is raising an animal in the house, and it is forbidden to raise animals there, Louise starts cleaning the store, and he unloaded the basket which Crusoe is in, but Crusoe isn't there. And Angus asks him about the reason he is here. Louise tells him that he is cleaning, according to his mother's orders. Angus goes out searching about Crusoe everywhere all the night, but Crusoe being in the house. Crusoe runs when seeing a dog, but because it isn't tied well, it run behind Crusoe, and the ropes stop him, but that destroys the all kitchen. And the chef, Strunk, managed to stop the dog, and he put it inside the store and close on it. Angus was walk, and he heard his sister's scream. And she is escaping from something on the bathroom. He runs and know that is Crusoe above that. He tries to stop his sister from telling their mother to tell her about Crusoe and explaining everything to her, and Angus inform her about Crusoe. Angus is surprised at how fast Crusoe is growing. She promises not to tell anyone about Crusoe. The next day, their mother gives Louise some of her husband's clothes, and he says he will thank her husband when he returns. She reveals that her husband died a year ago, but she never tell her children before, and she asks Louise to fix the bathroom. When he goes to fix it, the children are in the bathroom trying to keep Louise out. They fail, and Louise sees Crusoe. After calming down, Louise tells them it resembles a water horse, a rare mythical animal only a few have seen. Legends say it is both male and female, laying eggs only once before dying. They spend too much time in the bathroom, causing their mother to knock on the door. They beg Louise not to tell their mother about Crusoe, and he agrees. They tell their mom they're helping Louise fix the bathroom pipes. They manage to hide Crusoe from their mother, but when Louise leaves, he leaves the door open. Crusoe go outside the room, but the dog was not tied. It sees Crusoe and start chasing him. During the chase, they go downstairs and the dog destroy everything in the house. They went to the dining room where the officers were having dinner, and the dog ran up on the dinner table and destroyed all the food and went out after Crusoe, who found the water fountain and jumped into it and began eating all the fish inside it. Next day, Angus and Louise find Crusoe in the water fountain, and his become very big. They decide to take him to the sea, and they take him on the van, and Louise fired him in the sea with difficulty. After returning home, Angus finds that his mother asked Captain Thomas to train him with the army and battalion to keep him occupied. Angus becomes busy with training and can't visit Crusoe, although it is still waiting for him. But he can't escape from Thomas and heads to the lake where Crusoe is. He waits for Crusoe to appear, but nothing happens, so he takes a boat to the middle of the lake. Finally, Angus finds Crusoe, which has grown very large from eating so much food in the lake. Crusoe wants to play with Angus, like before, so Angus rides on its back, sailing in the water. Despite his fear of drowning, Angus enjoys the experience, and they spend happy time together in sunset. When they finish playing, Crusoe brings Angus back to the beach, but before Crusoe dives under the water, Strunk sees them. Angus returns home and excitedly tells his sister and Louise what happened and how happy he was. The next day, Captain Thomas takes the family to show them the army's work on the hill and their plan to strike the Germans if they approach the area by sea. To demonstrate the power of the cannons, they conduct a live experiment, firing missiles into the lake where Crusoe is. Angus becomes angry when he realizes they are going to hit the lake with missiles. He tries to stop them, but when Angus gets too close to the cannons, he almost gets injured. His mother punishes him and takes him back to the house. The next day, 2 residents from the city claims to have seen Crusoe, but no one believes them. They goes to the lake with a camera to capture a photo of the creature, but they fall. In their pursuit of fame, they fake a picture, which quickly spreads in the newspapers. Strunk and his friend see the photo, and Strunk confirms that he saw Crusoe with his own eyes. They decide to kill Crusoe to gain fame as monster hunters. Meanwhile, Angus sneaks away from home to check on Crusoe after the previous day's events. Louise accompanies Angus to the lake's shore, and Angus keeps calling out until Crusoe emerges. Suddenly, Crusoe tries to attack Angus, but Louise rescues him. Louise realizes that after yesterday's events, Crusoe has become a wild animal, ready to attack anyone, believing they will hurt him. Angus becomes upset because he lost his best friend. When he arrives home, he hears the dog barking and realizes someone is trying to catch Crusoe. Indeed, Strunk and his friend are attempting to kill Crusoe. They find and attack it, and Crusoe fights back. They call the battalion for help, claiming they are under attack and need to use missiles to hit Crusoe and save themselves. However, their boat flips near the shore. Crusoe is about to kill Strunk after his friend escapes, but Angus intervenes to prevent Crusoe from killing him. Entering the water despite his fear, Angus begins to drown. Crusoe sees Angus drawing, he lets Strunk and go to rescue him. Louise tries to refresh Angus, and then Angus's mother arrived to see what happened. They see Crusoe for the first time, and she sees him save her son. Suddenly, missiles begin hitting the lake based on the boat's call. Angus tries to get Crusoe away from the missiles, riding on its back to guide it out of the lake and away from the danger zone. Because the weather is very windy and rainy, Thomas can't cancel the order through the walkie-talkie. The observation soldiers report strange movements in the sea that resemble a submarine, thinking a German submarine is approaching to attack. In reality, it's Crusoe's head. The rope is raised to catch the submarine. At the same time, Thomas and Angus's mother are in a boat, ready to rescue Angus if he drowns. Crusoe decides to leave Angus so it can hide underwater, far from the missiles, and Angus heads toward his mother on the boat. Crusoe dives underwater and jumps over the huge rope network, successfully escaping and finally gaining freedom. In the end, Crusoe sees Angus one last time, swimming during the sunrise, as if saying goodbye to his friend. This was the story. I hope you enjoyed watching. Bye.